What is up, you complete and utter savages? Today we're going to be going over a little rant about the last Beckett submission I just posted on my YouTube. We're going to be talking about some cards, the grades of the cards, feedback that you guys are giving me. Some of it's junk. You guys got your own opinions on stuff. I got mine. I don't make these videos to try to persuade anybody to do anything. I'm making these videos to help people, especially people who are just getting into grading. It also is pretty annoying. I honestly don't care. I love the hate. Keep giving me all the hate. You guys just fuel me to make more videos. I love when you guys comment your stupid comments that don't make any sense. But we're going to be going over some of the dumb comments you guys are making, talking about CGC and how I do way better on CGC than any other grading company. Back in the day, a couple of years ago, I've tried Beckett. They weren't that bad a while ago. I used to send them all kinds of stuff. They always gave me decent grades. This recent submission was terrible. I've used PSA back in the day. They were always good. PSA, I'm going to be trying another order with PSA pretty soon here. But I'm just going to be going over some of the junk that you guys have been commenting under my stuff. The fake news, the garbage about a Beckett 9.5 being worth as much as a CGC 10 or a PSA 10. It's just not true. So this is also a problem I had with Beckett. They mislabeled two of the cards. They put Fusion Strike, Gengar. These were sequential back to back, so I kind of understand. But how do you do this? They gave the Beckett Darkrai the Gengar VMAX grades and the label, and they put the Darkrai onto the Gengar, which is pretty ridiculous. Terrible grades. I do not take a 9.5 as a good grade, but I guess I'm going to have to take that. So first off, let's talk about this Dragonite V Pristine. Now let's keep in mind also, out of my 50 card CGC order, my last order on my channel, I received, out of 50 cards, I had 38 10s. Out of 18 of those 10s, they were pristine cards. This is a very nice looking card. Perfect corners, perfect edges. Some people would think Beckett's really tough on grading, so Beckett this will probably be a Beckett 9.5 if you send it to Beckett. So where do these standards you guys make up come from? You guys like a 9.5? You guys like 9s? Is a 9 or a 9.5 worth more in a sports card? Because I can tell you right now, it's not worth more in a TCG card. Pokemon, any of them. A 9.5 is not worth more than a 10. I'm going to prove it to you right now, because this card from last week's CGC submission, this card already sold. It sold for $620. And in a PSA, it sells for around $450 in a PSA 10. It's really hard to find a Beckett 10 because Beckett doesn't give out the 10s. Out of the 40 plus card Beckett order, I got one pristine 10. You guys are saying, oh, it's because your cards are bad. Beckett's a tough grading company, man. Blah, 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 blah. It's all junk. It's all junk. We got an SV49 Charizard from Hidden Fates. Charizard GX. A 9 on the centering, which is kind of understandable. It's off center on the front. But when you look at the back, the card is perfect. So they wanted to give the centering a 9, which I understand. Okay, give the centering a 9. Corners, 9.5. Look at those corners. They got the perfect minty sun and moon corners. Perfectly round corners. The corners are perfect. But then you get a comment, you don't see it. You don't see what's wrong with the corners. Why would you be that strict on a card? What is the point of being that strict on a card? To me, that card is mint condition. That is a perfect card. The expectations from Beckett are way too high, way too crazy. If you have any logical, if you've ever opened Pokemon cards or anything like that, anybody who has opened them knows anything in Sword and Shield, you have a good chance of getting a card that is centered good, a card that is good on edges, a card that is good on corners, and you really don't have to worry about surface with a card right out of the pack most of the time. Anybody with a brain who opens Pokemon cards knows anything after Sword and Shield, all the modern sets, 90% of the time, your cards are coming out of the pack with white corners. If it's out of a mini tin or even a normal pack, bent corners with bending backwards for whatever reason. Edging problems. You got problems with the edges. This is right out of the pack, guys. So how can Beckett not adapt to how do they not know that that is a thing? Out of being a large grading company, how do you not adapt to these problems? So if you look up any of these cards from Crown Zenith gets away with it. Crown Zenith was a good set to get good corners on, good card quality off the production line, good card quality out of the pack. Most of the time, it just depends on the card. I got lucky. I got a Pikachu Secret Rare that was perfect on centering, very good corners. The corners aren't bent, no whitening on the card. I got really lucky. Most of the time, you're not going to find that with a modern card set. The cards are damaged out of the pack. So if you go on eBay or anything and you look up cards from the new modern sets, you're not going to find a Beckett Pristine 10 because it's almost not possible. If they're going to be that strict on the grading, it's almost not possible. The only way I could see somebody choosing Beckett as a grading company, anybody doing large submissions, it's not worth it. If you're sending out one card, like this SV49 Charizard that I sent this out by itself, and it still took 2 months to get back to me. It took well over 40 days for them to grade one card. So the wait was annoying just as it is. And then the grade to get a 9.5, I mean, I don't want that in my collection. I don't want a 9 in my collection. So I'm almost tempted to crack that and send it to CGC and get a pristine. It's worth more than a Beckett 9.5. So the first thing I'm going to go over the Dragonite V sales and compare a CGC pristine to probably a PSA or whatever I can find sold on it, which is probably going to be pretty hard. I might not even be able to find a Beckett Pristine 10. So let's go to sold prices, not asking. So here's the one I just showed you, mine. It just sold for $621 plus $6.50 shipping. On the same day, we have a PSA 10 that sold for $452. We have a PSA 9, which I also think is pretty ridiculous that people pay raw price for a 9. Here's an example right here. Somebody paid for a raw card $235.50. To me, that is ridiculous to pay more than a PSA 9 or any graded 9 card, that is, because I'm telling you right now, 90% of the time, anyone selling a raw card on eBay, TCG Player, any of those, most of them are graders. They already know that card is not going to get a 10, so they're just going to sell it raw, and you people are going to pay more than a grade 9 price to get a raw card. You're better off buying a 9, cracking it, and resending it somewhere. Just telling you, just so you guys know. That's ridiculous. I think a grade 9 should be higher than the raw price, and I think a grade 8 should be the raw price. Because most of these guys are just selling these cards because they know it's not going to get a 10. We got a Japanese Beckett 9.5. Beckett loves grading these Japanese cards and giving the Japanese cards outrageous grades. You can't even find, there's no BGS 10 sales on this card because nobody wants to send it to Beckett and get a 9.5. You guys are just meat riding Beckett for some reason in my last video. I don't know why, but some of you guys meat ride Beckett way too hard. Let's compare. Let's see if we can find another comparison. We'll look up the Secret Rare Pikachu. Let's see if you can find any of these in a BGS 10. Crown Zenith. I'll just put 10. Let's see what comes up. Okay, let's see here. Let's go to sales. And we'll see if it's worth grading with CGC or another company. Also keep in mind, with CGC, I'm paying $10 a card. With PSA and Beckett, you guys are paying $14 or more a card. So we got a PSA 10 that sold today for $90. We got a PSA 10 today that sold for $100, and we got another one that sold for $100. Okay. We got a CGC Pristine that sold for $100 more than a PSA 10. Out of a 50 card submission, I got 18 Pristines, guys. 18 Pristines. My Pristines are selling more than the PSA 10s. You are paying more money to send your cards to PSA and more money to send your cards to Beckett to get a 9.5. Let's look up a BGS 9.5 because they don't want to give you those 10s because they're strict graders. A BGS 9. It won't even sell for 47. We got a black label. Somebody got a black label. He's asking $2,000. This dude actually got a BGS 10. He's asking $475. Let's see if any of these are selling. A BGS 9.5, December 8th. So for 43, nobody's buying these. Nobody's buying BGS. Nobody's buying Beckett. You want to know why? Because the grades are ridiculous. The demand of the price is ridiculous. You got, and not even to mention, these pristine slabs look nicer than the Beckett slabs, guys. Overall, what can you take from this? Don't send your cards to Beckett. Don't overpay to send cards to Beckett. You can't even find a BGS sold card recently. There's none. I just can't understand the deal with Beckett. The whole video, my whole video, I'm not mad about it. I'm still going to make money off of the order. 110 out of 40 cards to me after grading with CGC and getting out of 50 cards, getting 38 10s, or even my older ones. I had a 73 card order with like 40 10s. I can't even tell you how many pristines. There was more than that. There was more 10s than that. I just can't see the value. On my CGC submissions, I am tripling my money sometimes. I'm paying $500. That $500 is paid off, and I am making $1,000 off of the cards from CGC. Your Beckett orders, if you aren't getting 10s, these 9.5s are not selling anywhere near a 10. Anyone saying the 9.5s are a 10 or anything else, it's ridiculous. I also talk to people, they say, I don't want to send to CGC. They don't give pristines. Watch my videos. Go back and watch any of my other submissions. It's crazy. Every card out the box is a pristine. It's not close. Some of you guys that are crapping on CGC, you just hear a streamer say, don't send to CGC. They're junk. They're scammers. They grade fake cards. And then you guys just don't do it. So what do you send them to Beckett? You like losing money? You send them to PSA. PSA randomly gives you a 6 on some card that's like mint condition. I don't have anything bad to say about PSA. I haven't used them yet. I'm going to try to use them at some point in the future. You guys can send your cards to Beckett if you love them. You can get they might give you the miss label. They might keep your cards for 2, 3, 4 months and you can't get a hold of them because the customer service is non-existent. You can send them one of the biggest cards you've ever pulled in mint condition and get a 9.5 and get off to that if you want. Or you can pull a big card and send it to CGC and get a pristine with a gold pristine label that actually looks nice and something that you actually want to keep in your collection or actually demands a decent value for the grade. And you can either have honest grades. You can get honest 10 grades with a company that isn't going to crap on your cards and basically tell you your cards are junk. Or you can send them to Beckett and you can settle with a 9 if that's what you guys want to do. Like I said before, I'm here to help people, especially people who are just getting into grading. If you are just getting into grading, please don't send your cards to Beckett. Try something else. Try Tag, try PSA, try CGC, try any of those new ones. Don't send your cards to Beckett. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to wrap this up. Stay tuned. Like, follow, subscribe, comment if you want. Talk your crap if you want. I love it. I got 2 giant CGC orders out. I sent a lot of vintage Yu-Gi-Oh cards, a lot of vintage Pokemon cards. I got Mewtwo from 2004, Rockets Mewtwo in there, Test Tube Mewtwo from Shining Legends, all kinds of cool stuff in there. That was an 83 card order. I just sent out another one, a 55 card order. And tomorrow I'm about to send out another 40 card order, all going to CGC. I will be posting videos on the grades I get when those come back. And they also won't take 4 months like if you were to send it to Beckett just to get 9.5s. But, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I'm out. Don't send your cards to Beckett. They're ridiculous. Anyone who says any different, don't do it. All right, guys. Peace.